Not ready to sell in this market? Well, here's 19 tips, tricks, and secrets to sell your house for a bigger profit. I've compiled 19 best tips on how to add value to your home before you put it on the market so you can get the best possible price and put more money back in your pocket. The application of all these tips is going to vary based on whether you're currently living in your home or if it is vacant. And obviously, if the property is tenanted, the extent to which you'll be able to make any improvements, particularly at the time of the showing, is going to be all based on your relationship with the tenant and how willing and cooperative they are to help you, knowing that they might be out of a home when your home sells. I am going to start with some of the more common tips to boost the profitability when selling your home, and then I'm going to share some of the lesser known secrets that can really be the cherry on top for a lot of potential buyers and tip them over the fence to offer on your property versus somebody else's and increase the number that they're willing to put down for it. Many of these tips, if used, will absolutely create a return for you. At the same time, some of these tips will not make sense for you to do at all, so you have to dive into these carefully and then speak to your realtor to discuss what options there are and what makes sense for you given your situation and your home location and all the different factors that come into play. Hey buddy, I am Jonathan Lerner with the Vancouver Life Real Estate Group and eXp Realty, and I am here giving you everything real estate related, tips, tricks, markets, buys, sells, how to get the best deal for yourself when you are buying, and how to get the most as a seller when you are selling your home or investment property. For more info and to get more content like this, please make sure to like, subscribe, and click the bell to get notified of more videos as they come out, and click the share button down below this video if you think anyone will gain value from this video as well. All right, so let's dive in. The first tip here is primarily if you are not living in the property. However, some aspects of this can certainly be incorporated if you are living there. And that number one thing is staging your home. We've heard it before, and it doesn't have to be the entire home either. Staging the living room followed by your primary bedroom and the kitchen have been found to be the most important areas to focus on. So you don't necessarily have to stage the entire home, especially if you have a larger home, but you can stage specific areas, and that can really help the first impression of buyers as they walk in and as they walk through the home. Why stage? Simply put, it's easier for a buyer to visualize a staged property as a future home. Part of that process is a massive decluttering of the home, which allows a buyer to see the opportunity of that space for their own belongings and for their own memories that they could build there. And the cost of that staging could be, again, you could be very on the minimal side at $500, or you could be $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 depending on the size of the home and how much that needs to be brought into the home and moved. Tip number 2 on how to get more money in your pocket from selling your home, and that is to create a clutter-free oasis. Every realtor will talk about this, and you can find this advice everywhere, but do not discount it just because you hear it everywhere, especially if you're not going to be staging your home. It's extremely difficult for a potential buyer to visualize the possibilities of a space when it's cluttered and when the shelving, closets, countertops are all cluttered or filled to their capacity, just covered in things. And the other thing that a clean and organized home does is it gives off the impression that the home has been well maintained. An unmade bed, a cluttered room, dusty drapes can give the opposite impression. So it's very important to be aware of how this can be. And with that said, your place, when it comes time to show it, should be spotless. A house can never be too clean. If you were a buyer and you chose, would you choose the house that is a little bit dingy or the one that's been kept up and looks very clean when you walk in? Right? If they were similar properties, similar price ranges, well, I'd absolutely want the one that's clean because that gives me the impression that it's likely been better maintained over the years and that I'll have less issues come up in the future. The other thing that clutter-free rooms and clean rooms that have been cleaned to a great extent is that it makes light reflect more, and it also allows the rooms to appear larger, which is a great thing for potential people coming in and wondering if this space is going to be large enough and to be able to hold the furniture that they have. Now, I have a bonus tip on decluttering as well. Storage is something every buyer is looking for, and you can never really have enough of it. So look at your closets, take out half of the stuff in your closets, and then organize what's remaining in the closet. What that will do, because buyers are going to look in the closets, is it's going to give the feeling that the closets are larger and that they're going to be big enough to fit the potential buyer who's coming into your home to be able to fit all their stuff and clothes and shoes and boxes that they have. So Take out half, organize it, and that will make a dramatic difference of how they feel about the closet. Tip number 3 on how to increase the selling price and put more money in your pocket when selling your home. Take the home out of your home. And what I mean by that is, as you're decluttering, you also want to depersonalize the space by packing away your personal items. It has been your home and you've created memories in there. However, potential buyers want to envision themselves in that home and creating their own memories. So any personal effects of yours that you leave within the home can actually shatter that illusion and make the property feel less like a home to this potential buyer and less inviting, because now they're entering into someone else's home instead of a home that could be their own. Tip number 4 on selling your property for more money is to repair what is visibly broken or not working. Seems obvious, but so many people don't do this. Fixing just a few issues before listing your home for sale can go a super long way towards adding the perceived extra value to the home. It may take a little bit of elbow grease and maybe a few dollars, maybe getting a handyman in, but it's super necessary to improve people's first impressions of the home, because that's all you get with people is their first impression. Part of this factor of fixing these visible things is that many home buyers are only interested in homes that are move-in ready condition. So taking care of repairing any misaligned closet doors, leaky sinks, cracked windows, or adding sealant and caulking along windows and baseboards can make a massive difference. Because if people see something broken, they may question how well the home has been cared for over the years, and then worry about the integrity and the less obvious things that they might not notice while they're in there. So it's the same reason that you want your home to be spotless, because it portrays the thought process that the home has been well taken care of. Tip number 5 on selling your home for more money and adding more value to it before it goes up for sale is that you should hire a home inspector. Most every offer that you receive from buyers will be subject to a home inspection, and poor results of that could break the deal for you. A pre-listing inspection can actually give you the chance to uncover any unforeseen issues that you were not aware of and take care of unanticipated repairs in advance that many times a buyer, if they find it from their inspection, will actually come back to you and they say, I know we agreed on this price, but I want to ask for $5,000 less because now I have to fix this and go through the issues of fixing this issue that we found in our inspection. So that just allows you to be better informed, to take advantage of repairing the things in advance so they don't come up. Or if you don't want to fix anything, it allows you a more educated understanding of the home and a more educated strategy when it comes to coming up with a proper listing price to market your property. Tip number 6 in selling your home for more money is keep your maintenance up to date. Super obvious, I know, but it is so easy to let routine maintenance slide, particularly when day-to-day life gets busy. I mean, I got 2 little ones, 4 and 1, I got a 3rd one on the way, so I know this very well that it's easy to get wrapped up in the day-to-day. And yet these short-term costs of regularly servicing your HVAC or inspecting your roof and the exterior can go a long way towards boosting your home value when you are planning on selling your home. Sellers often forget to keep up on their maintenance, and then when the inspection happens and an inspector comes in and looks at every crevice and every aspect of the home, there could be a long list of neglected items. And most of the time, buyers are not purchasing a house with plans to put in a bunch of money for the critical systems. And your plumbing, your electrical, your air, and having them all in good working conditions will ensure that they feel comfortable offering a premium price that you want for your home. Even if you live in a stratified building or complex and they take care of the majority of the exterior building and the grounds and that regular maintenance, there's still items in your home that you need to stay on top of for that regular maintenance to ensure that everything stays in proper working condition long term and that the buyers don't have to worry about things breaking down when they take ownership. Tip number 7 on how to add more value to your home and sell for top dollar. And this one's a little bit different than most people would anticipate. And that is to create a digital home history library. So this plays off of the prior tip of keeping your maintenance up to date. And because many buyers today, they don't want to be doing renovations and they want something that is move-in ready and well maintained. And if you keep up to date with your maintenance and you can show that to both the buyer and their realtor, they will know that you've truly cared for the home and that you've kept things up to date, and they'll have a much greater trust that this is a good purchase for their home as an investment and for themselves and their family. That concludes part 1, your first 7 steps when it comes to adding more value and getting more profit for your home when you go to sell. Make sure to click onto our next video, part number 2, that is going to talk more about your curb appeal and the types of different renovations and improvements that you can do in your home to increase the value of your home and get a greater return on your dollar for those investments. And that concludes part 1 of this 3-part series, giving you multiple tips, tricks, and secrets on how to put more money in your pocket by increasing the value of your home before it ever goes to market to sell. Make sure to click on to the next video and watch part 2, where I dive into more of the renovations and the improvements and fixes that you could do in your home to increase its value, whether for a big budget or for a small budget, and yet still create a great return. Then following that, part 3, I'm gonna go into more detail about some improvements you can do to your home, but also a few tips that are lesser known amongst the industry, but can really be the icing on the cake that can tip a buyer over the edge to make that offer or make an offer at a premium price because you've brought something great in this property.